Alright, this is Broke Ballers. For our old school Sunday special, our feature is going to be the PGP2. We have some gameplay footage of it as well. So some information on the PGP2 is that these were made back in 2000 and retailed for $75. Some of the upgrades that these featured over the old PGP ones is the quick changer for CO2. It only requires 2 full turns to get it in. A quick feed that you can pull back and load the balls in, and a rear velocity adjuster, so you don't need to shim your springs or anything to get the right velocity. Some of the drawbacks of this model are overspray. When they painted these, there's some overspray in the barrel, so sometimes it can cause ball breaks and it's not very smooth. Another problem is the air inlet hole. Some of them were placed too far forward, so instead of propelling the ball out the barrel, it would actually propel the ball up the barrel, causing a break. Both problems can be easily fixed. For overspray, you could use Brasso or some kind of polish, and go ahead and polish up the inside of the barrel to remove the overspray. And the air placement hole can be fixed with either an aftermarket bolt, such as a copper T, or you can modify the existing bolt with rubber spacers, or adding extra material to push the ball forward into the chamber. Okay, now we're going to go do the maintenance on the PGP2. It's actually very simple, not very hard. Go ahead and unscrew the quick changer there. Move this. Just be careful with this because this is plastic, along with the front piece there. This one's pretty easy to remove. If you can see, there's a little plastic hole there, and a little bit of plastic there holding this in, so you can just push it out. I'm not going to remove that. Okay, for the bolt, there is a groove cut into the body, so you would go ahead and pump it back, and as you're removing it, you want to pull the arm out as well at the same time. There we go. Just go ahead and twist that arm over. The pump guy can come right off, and the bolt comes right out. As you can see, it is flat faced, so you can add an O-ring or rubber to push the ball forward into the chamber, so you don't have the problem of it breaking on the top of the barrel. Okay. Next, you go ahead and take an Allen key to remove the frame. Just like so. And if you ever need any parts for these markers, you can actually get them at Palmer's. They provide all the service and parts for the PGPs, along with a lot of the old Sheridan markers. There we go. Okay. So the frame comes off. And the rear velocity adjuster has threads on it, so you unscrew them. There we are. And you can see that there's a hole on the rear velocity adjuster for the screw we just removed from the frame. Okay. The spring drops out, and the hammer. There we are. You just go ahead and clean those up. And then there's also a valve in here. To remove it, you actually take a blank 12-gram cartridge, go ahead and put it in, and if you have a wooden dowel, you go ahead and put the wooden dowel in there and just push it out through the back. But of course I'm not going to do that because there's no need. You shouldn't actually ever need to remove the valves unless there's a problem with leaks or it's not piercing into 12 grams. Then you would need replacement parts for that. And this is a cartridge style valve as well. Alright, so that's the PGP fully disassembled, and we're going to go ahead and put this all back together after we get it cleaned up. Okay, but now that we got the gun cleaned up, we're just going to go ahead and reassemble it, which is pretty much the same, or the reverse of disassembly. So go ahead and start off with the hammer and the RVA, or rear velocity adjuster. Get threads in there. There we go. Yep. And these are really fine threads, so you don't want to strip them. Okay. So go ahead and turn it in until it gets pretty tight. And you actually want to see the hole out the bottom. Okay. There we are. You can see that we got the hole out the bottom. That's very important when you're going to reattach your frame. Oh, and don't lose those, because that's your safety right there. So there we go. Put the spring back in. Go ahead and line it up there. We had this gun for a few weekends and we used it. We have some gameplay footage on our channel. It's very different using a pump pistol when playing hyperball or scenario games, especially with the PGP 2, because it doesn't have the most reliable feed, so you really have to watch it when you're pumping, and hopefully a ball lands in the chamber. Sometimes you even have to shake it, and I'm pretty sure you can see that during our videos. I'll go ahead and reattach the arm here. Okay. Just push it in. Perfect. Plastic feed goes on, like so. And 12 grams. Very simple markers. Pretty reliable out on the field. Don't really have to worry about it. One thing we do want to comment is that when you insert the 12 gram, sometimes you have to pump it back twice to try and get it to pierce. It doesn't pierce immediately because the piercing pin is attached to the valve. So when the hammer goes forward, the piercing pin will go ahead and pierce the 12 gram. Alright, thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this video.